Hi, I'm Michael Correa, and this is Psych Exam Review. This is a practice question video where we're going to look at 10 questions related to memory. And before we go to the questions, a few quick reminders on how to use these effectively. And the first is always try to come up with your own answer first. So I'll pause after I read the question, but before I show the multiple choice answers. And you might want to pause the video if you need a little more time. You want to try to retrieve the memory on your own. Come up with some potential options that you think might be correct, and only then look to the multiple choice answers. Hopefully you'll see something that you're looking for, or you'll at least know how to eliminate some things that you know are incorrect. And don't forget to also review any other unfamiliar terms that appear in the video, in the question, in the incorrect answer choices, or in the explanation. Okay, so let's look at 10 multiple choice questions related to memory. When Roland couldn't recall an actor's name, he thought of movies the actor had starred in, hoping one of these might serve as a procedural memory, a retrieval cue, a mnemonic, an iconic memory, or an episodic memory. And this would be B, a retrieval cue. So a retrieval cue is something that helps us with recalling a memory. And the reason that it works is that our memories are organized into networks of connected ideas. So when you activate one node in a network, such as a movie title, it can spread to other memories that are connected to that node, such as the actor's name. And this can make it easier for you to recall that name. This researcher tested himself with nonsense syllables to measure how memory fades. Was this Alan Baddeley, Daniel Schachter, George Miller, Herman Ebbinghaus, or George Sperling? And this was D, Herman Ebbinghaus. So Ebbinghaus tested himself with lists of nonsense syllables, and then he systematically measured his performance, producing what's often known as a forgetting curve, which shows that a large quantity of new material is forgotten very quickly, and then our forgetting tapers off more gradually. This is part of the reason why it's so important to review very quickly after you've learned something, because most of the forgetting is going to happen very soon after you've learned it. Joan found it was easier to remember her customers' orders when she thought of them in categories, such as appetizers, entrees, sides, drinks, etc. This is an example of, is this the multi-store model, the method of Loki, the serial position effect, selective attention, or organizational encoding? And this would be E, organizational encoding. So Joan is using a form of organization in order to help her to encode this new information into her memory. And this helps to provide a structure. And that's going to be useful when she later needs to retrieve the information. So she might be able to remember that there were 3 appetizers that were ordered, or there were 4 drinks. And this might help to trigger some of her memory and help her to remember the order. Patient HM was able to learn new skills, such as drawing while looking at a mirror image, suggesting that the hippocampus is not essential for the formation of explicit memory, declarative memory, procedural memory, source memory, eidetic memory. And this would be C, procedural memory. HM is a famous patient whose hippocampi were surgically removed. HM's ability to learn how to do new things, despite his inability to form new declarative memories, implied that procedural memories were not reliant on the hippocampus. The chemical strengthening of neural connections due to repeated use is known as, is this overlearning, chunking, primacy, persistence, or long-term potentiation? And this would be E. Long-term potentiation. When a neural pathway is used repeatedly, chemical changes occur at the synapse which strengthen the neural connections. This is often summarized as neurons that fire together wire together. After hearing several friends describe Bill falling at a party she attended, Alice came to believe that she witnessed this, demonstrating reconstructive memory, transactive memory, persistence, egocentric bias, consistency bias. And this would be A, reconstructive memory. So the information that Alice heard from her friends is combined and integrated with her own memory of the party and perhaps some imagined elements, and these all become part of a reconstruction, and now she believes that she witnessed Bill's fall. Jaime needs to remember to take a pill early tomorrow morning, so he leaves the pill in front of his coffee maker tonight, making use of this misattribution, levels of processing, the visuospatial sketchpad, prospective memory, or false recognition. And this would be D, prospective memory. This suggests that Jaime understands prospective memory, or memory for the future. He predicts now that he might forget to take the pill tomorrow morning, so he creates a retrieval cue that will direct his attention to the memory when he starts to make coffee first thing in the morning. So when he goes to make coffee, he'll see the pill. This will be, hopefully, a very obvious retrieval cue that will remind him he needs to take the pill. After an image was flashed on a screen, Max felt he could still see it for about a second while it was in his echoic memory, implicit memory, source memory, iconic memory, or semantic memory. And this would be D, while it was in his iconic memory. So iconic memory refers to our visual sensory memory. This is a highly detailed but very brief memory of a visual stimulus, and it lasts about 1 or 2 seconds and then very quickly fades. Now, attention may allow us to move some, but probably not all of this information to our short-term memory. In Christopher Nolan's 2000 film Memento, the protagonist suffers from an inability to form new long-term memories, known as cryptomnesia, retrograde amnesia, anterograde amnesia, absent-mindedness, or blocking. And this would be C, anterograde amnesia. So anterograde means going forward. So this is amnesia going forward and applying to the time after the traumatic incident, in contrast to retrograde amnesia, which refers to forgetting of events that occurred prior to the traumatic incident or the injury. Michelle found that imagining herself taking part in historical events helped her to recall them, likely due to suggestibility, the self-referential effect, the testing effect, state-dependent memory, or flashbulb memory. And this would likely be due to the self-referential effect. So the self-referential effect is a specific application of levels of processing theory, in which information that is processed more deeply is better recalled. So connecting new information to oneself and to one's self-schema can help us to encode and retrieve that information more effectively. Okay, so that's the end of these questions. I hope that you did well. I also hope that you found them fairly challenging. And make sure that you review anything that was difficult or unfamiliar. And of course, that includes the incorrect answer options and any other terms that I used in the explanations. And I encourage you to share any questions or suggestions that you have for future review videos in the comments. I hope you found this helpful. If so, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks for watching.